Lost Planet 3 takes place on EDN3, which is the same planet as the other games in the franchise, but we're actually going back in time chronologically because this is the first game in the series, timeline. It's actually a prequel to Lost Planet 1. So you're going to be seeing EDN3 in sort of its most kind of natural sort of state, when most intense conditions before man kind of came in and started really affecting the environment. We were the first really video game out there to explore the idea of this incredibly intense frozen planet. And that's really a space that we own, and I want to make sure that, we're continuing to tell stories about that, and not only, expand the world, but also show its past and its history. And that's the reason why we've gone with sort of the prequel route, so we can show the planet of EDN3 at its most intense state. We're dealing with sort of the colonization of the planet and sort of the frontier nature of it. So exploration, discovery of resources, discovery of new areas is something that's going to be very important. And it's also something that we've really wanted to do in the series for a long time. And finally now with the technology and with the concept of the game, we're able to make it so that, you do have these high action sequences, you do have these suspenseful interior segments that you mentioned, being inside of a derelict base and kind of exploring that. But we also have these great sweeping vistas where you're both in and out of the rig and you can go out and explore. And the player is going to have the freedom to get in and out at almost any point when you're in the exterior on the planet. So, for instance, you could be walking in the rig from one location to another, find something kind of on the ground, maybe a glittering piece of metal or something, get out, investigate, maybe that will lead to a whole other side mission. So we really like the freedom that offers. In Lost Planet 1 in particular, thermal energy was used to kind of heat the main character's body so that he wouldn't freeze to death, and so it sort of almost was an artificial timer that would keep pressing you on forward throughout the levels, which was good for Lost Planet 1 because it was much more arcade-style shooter experience. But because we are focusing more on exploration and narrative and things like that, we wanted to remove a little bit of that artificial timer feel. And so in Lost Planet 3, the thermal energy will serve as a resource. It's a valuable commodity that the colonists are there to try to exploit. So as Jim gathers thermal energy, he'll be able to take it back to his base and then exchange that for new weapons and upgrades and things like that.